Good morning from Okotoks, Alberta. Still on holidays / work holidays, kind of. How are you doing, Austin? How was the weekend? Did you get out stampeding?
Yes, I did. I graced the Stampede with my presence. No, it was a fun Stampede week. It was good to. I know I've talked about it before, but good to see some life back in the city and people out doing things and having a good time. Stampede's always a great event. It's nice to bring people together over. Alberta. It's a cultural thing too, right? It has a lot of significance for the people here, and it's nice to see that coming back and people getting excited about it.
Absolutely, and especially to enjoy the summer. And like you said, it's a big cultural event for Calgary. Even if you've lived here, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It tracks on any other year about 1 million visitors in total. So quite an event. Very cool, and it's nice to get out for summer because lockdowns will be coming in September. So not to get into too much trouble, but if you're looking at the news, it's not looking good. But we can focus on the good stuff. So take it away, Austin. Exactly. I think there's a couple of companies you wanted to talk about. There's a couple of companies I wanted to just reach out to give some updates on and share with people.
Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of go back and forth on the interesting updates that have developed over the last week. I know we haven't been doing the show last week because we were busy with obviously you being out here and me being at the Stampede and all that stuff. So the first big one, though, that was really exciting was Globex Data. Sekur announced this morning that they've rolled out a 30-second commercial. It's basically, this is more big advertising being done by Globex Data to push Sekur in the U.S. launch and on the U.S. networks. So they're advertising on MSNBC, CNBC, Fox News, Fox Business, Bloomberg TV. It's a 30-second commercial to push Sekur, talk about how, the critical need for their platform to secure your data, to be encrypting your messaging, your email, protecting your data, not storing your data with Amazon Web Service or any big tech platform, basically keeping you safe and secure from these hacks that we see consistently all the time. And I don't know if you were able to catch this as well, but actually it was just reported, I saw a Bloomberg article this morning, that in 37 different countries, there were phones that were found with the Israeli spyware's Pegasus software on the cell phones. And I mean, people are saying, well, how the hell is that happening? Well, that's coming through WhatsApp. It's getting downloaded that way, or sometimes through Facebook Messenger as well. But it just goes to show that no matter what, even if you're setting up something that's linked just to your cell phone, then you're potentially exposing yourself to a bigger risk. And that's why Sekur and Globex and everything that they've built, this very, very safe, tight network, is so critically important right now.
Yeah, and this isn't, it's become a bit of a political hotbed, but it doesn't need to be. Anybody who has any interest in any kind of privacy or just wishing to have a conversation without being spied on should like this. And for me, it makes complete sense. I'm willing to spend $5-10 a month to secure some of the important messages and important stuff I want to share with people, rather than blowing $9 on something useless like Netflix, which I'm just going to get programmed and watch ridiculous remakes of old movies that are entirely politically motivated. So exactly. I love what they're doing, because they're right now they've got the product, they've got it, they just have to capture the amount of people to let them know that they're out there and they're doing this and that they are the solution right now. And once again, it doesn't matter if you're far left, far right, whatever, in the middle, you should really want the fact that you have some sort of privacy. If someone's trying to sell you that it doesn't matter, they usually drift towards authoritarian ideas anyway, and that's not a great person to be around. So there's no harm in wanting to have a little bit of privacy nowadays. So really, it's a great step forward. This is a stock that's it's going to take a while. These types of things, it isn't just a simple pick up and everyone buys it. The more that we see these hacks, and they're coming. I mean, the World Economic Forum, it's one of their key things. I mean, they talk about, I think it's called cyber polygon. That's one of their key kind of themes. And that one has started. I mean, it's been going on for a while, but I think the real significant attacks that they're promoting or talking about are still to come. So keeping that in the back of your mind is a good thing for a few dollars a month. To me, it makes sense. We don't get anything for pitching someone buying this. By the way, it's not an ad like that. We like it. We use it. Of course, we work with Sekur. We want the stock to go up for sure because we believe in it. But I just look at it and just go, this makes sense given the climate we're in, and it's not getting any better anytime soon. If you think that good things are around the corner, I love your optimism, but it's very foolhardy. So.
Well, it's extremely important because we've used WhatsApp all the time, and I think we kind of heard sprinklings of maybe it's not necessarily the most secure platform out there, but it wasn't really until we started talking to Elaine and everyone over at Globex about how their platform works and how it's different that you actually realize, holy crap, my data is really not protected. Regardless of where I'm going. Look, obviously, I've kind of known for years if you're using Facebook's reading your messages. They're all up in there. They're listening to your phone unless you have your listening services turned off because you can say something 1 minute and see an ad for it on Facebook the next.
Yeah.
But it's been really eye-opening into just not only just how dangerous it is and how corruptible your data is, regardless of where it's stored. But also just how safe and kind of foolproof lockbox they have things over there. So it's a great platform to use. It's exciting to see them now. The product's great. It's exciting to see them rolling it out and really putting that money that they've been raising over the last 6 months, pushing behind it and trying to propel it forward.
Yeah, and just to roll that up too, even the White House came out late last week and said that they're making lists of names of people. So that was specifically about what they believe COVID misinformation. But if you share anything that they deem not appropriate, you're on a list. So that's happening as well. It's shocking to say that out loud, but this is straight from the White House. They're saying that they're doing this. So just bear in mind, people, that even if you think it's funny, it's a funny meme, it's this, it's that, it's whatever, that's all being tracked, even one little like. And if you forward something, they're keeping that and they're tracking it and they're looking at specific people. And that's only, once again, it's going one direction. So let's move on to something a bit more positive. Goliath. So Goliath, we've seen Goliath Resources has been storming for quite a while. It's pulled back a little bit today. A lot of the market's pulled back today. It's been a bit of a mess, but they've got some great new. It's kind of it's great news, but it's not assay results. It's not final by any stretch of the imagination. But they've got some really good looking intercepts and some core that's coming out. And once again, these are not assayed, so there's no values that we can talk about. I know they're very optimistic about them, and some of the wording is quite good. And one of the things that we can say is that one of the brushes had a lot of possibly native silver in it. But when they shot the portable XRF gun, and what that is, that's a portable assay result. It's not legit as far as an actual assay result, but people at site will use these guns to get a bit of a reading to see, are we on track for this hole? And they got some pretty absurdly high, 5,000 grams per ton silver off that XRF spot gun. Now, once again, take it or leave it. It's cautious. It's very optimistic. I'm hoping, and once again, we don't work with Goliath. I've invested in Goliath. I think they've got a shot here. I think there's lots of compelling, interesting developments, but we're very, like anything, when you're coming to drilling, until you see those assays, it's, you get excited, but you just don't know. This is definitely good news. But more news will be coming, and I believe we should expect a constant flow of news. If they're putting out this kind of news flow already this fast with their drill season, I suspect for weeks and weeks and weeks we're going to still see some more moving forward. So that's a good news there from Goliath up there in the northwest of BC.
Yep.
So well done, guys, and we're looking forward to next week after what's coming out.
Well, it's great. It seems like exactly like you're saying that's maybe the first domino to fall in what could be a very successful drilling season for them, with a lot of great news and a lot of results. And it also highlights, I think, the importance of companies turning out good news, especially in the market that we look at and then the sector that we're viewing is, Goliath had a couple months there where it's just kind of hovering right around that 80-cent range. It's not doing much. It's been a pick that we've really liked, but then you see some good news comes out and boom, that stock chart starts to move right up on just a little bit of news. That's all it can take sometimes to get things really, really moving. So that's always exciting to see, like, hey, they've kind of checked all the right boxes. Boom, here comes a little bit of news. Boom, there goes the stock. So it's very exciting to see.
The other one I kind of want to give an update to is NG Energy, because it's one of my top picks. We don't work with them as well. I have worked with them in the past, just to be completely clear, but I'm still ultra bullish on this one. I'm buying it. I like it. It's done well by me. It's pulled back. And it's pulled back, for a lot of reasons. It's South America right now. Things in South America are tense, to say the least, as restrictions keep on going on, and the ones that will be upcoming. That causes a lot of stress on the financial system, and those that are poor and hungry are going to be in dire straits as they continue to push lockdowns over science. And I'm going to get myself in trouble, but. NG Energy did have an update today. So, and what happens with a lot of these stocks when they have to build out infrastructure and build out pipelines and wait for some results, there's a lull, and people, think, wow, if it's been a lull for a couple months, I could use my money somewhere else and I can get some returns. For me, I don't look that quickly and that fervently at a stock. Is that if I see it pull back like it has, I want to buy more. So their update was just in regards to connecting the contract that they have for the building of the assembly plant and all the complementary systems that are involved, the dehydration systems, the generators, all those types of things. They've made significant progress with that, getting it up to the standards that are required. So good news there to see that that's coming along as planned. They are a little bit behind because of COVID and because of what's happening in Colombia. Although we will state this, that they've put out a message saying that the union for oil and gas sector in Colombia and the workers or the people are behind them. So they're not protesting them necessarily. So that's actually a very big bonus. And that's a very, very big positive, because that would be a big concern would be, do they have a beef with NG Energy or the oil and gas sector? And they don't seem to be having one at all. They see the necessary requirement for them, as gas is the number one fuel for creating electricity. And I think 55% of their power comes from electricity, which comes from natural gas. So, I think they've kind of put out some news that it would be a couple months still. So, I'm thinking September, October, but I know some companies have pretty strong price marks for it. You can reach out to me specifically. I can send you a report. I believe it's Cormac that did a report, but I'll have to check again. Someone has put out a price point that's looks quite good, and I feel good about. So it's one that's down right now and hasn't had a ton of news, but I wanted to talk about because there is an update, and I feel very strongly that it just falls along the wayside. That happens. So you had another one also, Qyou?
Yeah, Qyou is another one that has had an exciting kind of role in news flow, just continuing to project things in the right way. But the biggest one was they updated their revenue guidance and increased it by 30% for the next quarter. So a 30% increase in projected revenue. It kind of fits in perfectly with the way they've been, they acquired Chatterbox. They've been really building this core team up. And now they're starting to see, India's rounding the corner on its COVID situation. It's starting to open up a bit more. Things are starting to get back in the groove over there. And as a result, Qyou's increased their revenue guidance. They're saying, look, we're feeling very strong about what we're doing. We're feeling very strong about the number of people that are watching our content. We're feeling very strong about the content that we're able to produce, about the expansion of our networks, where they're consistently adding more viewers, more television screens into their network. It's extremely exciting to see them continuing to check the boxes off. I know Kurt and his team are getting together this week. They're going to be kind of setting their guidelines for the next 12 months, coming up with their internal strategy. So it's just a continuation of really exciting things happening there, continuing to check those boxes that we like to see. And obviously, increased revenue is always a good thing.
Yes. And I know, and just to wrap up, because I mean, we love to chat. We want to keep this a bit short because we have on Friday, we're having Ariana Phosphate back on again. Once again, for full disclosure, we don't work with them. We just love this idea. We love this theme that's coming. And once again, because we're not, reading tea leaves or reading the future. We're literally looking at the playbook of these globalist groups like World Economic Forum, and they're telling us there's going to be a food shortage. So I will not take it for granted that they're not being somewhat honest about this. They've been pretty spot on about everything else. So looking at Ariana Phosphate and looking at, it's critical. I mean, you need to have phosphate if you want to have fertilizer for food. There's no substitute. So we're going to have them back on, but we're going to take a different angle because we're seeing it already play out as they test these theories out in the world. The disaster that is South Africa that has been mounting for 5-6 years now that the West has completely ignored. And also, some mainstream news purposely not reporting on what's happening over there. But we've seen it start to blow up now. I don't know what your comments are on that, but we will talk about this on Friday.
We'll definitely jump into it a bit more on Friday, but it's a very difficult and troubling situation to be looking at in South Africa. And my heart truly goes out to South African people and everything they're going through over there, because it's an utter disaster. It's corruption on an absolutely massive scale. I know that depending on what side of the aisle you're on in South Africa, some people think the COVID response has been a disaster. Some people think, obviously, that there shouldn't have been a response to begin with in the first place. The mainstream media over here basically will tell you that this all has to do with their former president, Jacob Zuma, being jailed and on trial for corruption charges, which there is. But I think a level of that is his own supporters are feeling like, hey, if you're going to take him up on these corruption charges, how about the guys who are in power right now who are, in their view mind, a lot worse? It's very difficult. I mean, right across South Africa, unless you're in the Western Cape province, it's been a very, very tough go the last few weeks over there, and it's in a situation that warrants talking about because it's not getting the right kind of coverage that it needs to get.
No.
But absolutely, my heart just goes out to the South African people because it's such a brutal situation over there. They're literally having to take matters into their own hands and defend their own communities and their own families with weapons because the government will not roll out enough protection for these people, for their farmland, for their businesses, their industries, that they're going to have to. They are having to take it into their own hands, and it's a very distressing situation.
Yes, and I watched South African TV this weekend to see, and it is a lot of like Chinese, South Asian, and white people banding together to protect themselves in areas. It's complete unrest, and it's unfortunate, and because the West likes to think of this rainbow nation, this dreamland utopia that they've made a myth for the last long period of time. People have no idea. And it's shocking the beliefs that people have of this region that aren't even remotely true. But that goes with most of things nowadays. Someone tells them something and they just take it for fact and they don't bother researching. And that's fine. I mean, that's just the world we live in. So we're going to touch that base. And, and for us, I like to wrap it into why does it matter? It's part of this model. So the part of the market model mindset is that we can look at geopolitical events and we can test to see if our theories are right by using the market. So, if there's a global food shortage, Ariana Phosphate is probably going to do very well. And we'll have him come on again and tell us why and gives a bit more detail. And why this is a huge opportunity to look for a Canadian company, especially for our Canadian investors. I'm not sure if they're traded on the U.S. I feel bad, but we'll check for Friday. But that's a preview of what's coming. For those of you who just like to watch the mainstream news, you're never going to hear about it. If you have interest, reach out to us. We're happy to send you links. We're happy to send you any detail or research or whatnot as well. But anyways, it was a great chat catching up with you, Austin, and we'll talk to you real soon. If there's anything else you want to follow up with, just shout it out.
No, that was phenomenal. Really looking forward to that conversation on Friday with Brian Ostrov. There's a lot of deep dive things we're going to go into. I know we're going to touch on Cuba and the situation in Haiti as well, so that one should be really exciting. Always great to catch up with you, Andrew, and we'll hopefully see you before you head back out to Vancouver.
Beautiful. And we won't be on Wednesday because I'll literally be on a plane.
Perfect.
All right, everyone.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
And we'll talk to you again soon, Austin. Bye-bye.
Cheers.